We're off. We're recording. Cool. So, Can I Kick a Podcast here again? Another video stream, lockdown stream. Today's guest we have, is it Grace Vella?
Yeah, Vella, yeah.
I thought it might have like a Spanish twang, but...
Yeah.
No. You can go with that if you want.
Grace Vella, founder of MISSKICK clothing brand. We reached out to Grace probably a few weeks ago now to get her on the podcast and have a talk through some of her influences in starting up what seems to be the beginning of a really successful clothing brand. So we're going to pick a brain for probably about an hour and then see what comes to surface and see if we can take anything from it, vice versa. Warren here with the random question generator. Going to start us off. He said it's a good one.
Nervous.
Yeah, we'll go to you first, Grace. I'll put the pressure on you.
Okay.
Do you people watch? If so, where do you like to do this most?
Do I people watch?
Yeah. If so, where do you like to do this most?
What do you mean, like place or like area on the body?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
No, place.
I feel like I don't know if that makes you sound weird. Probably because where I live, there's like a big field, and at the moment, obviously with everything that's going on, there's loads of people on the field, and like we always see it, it's like hours. I'm like, who's on the field today? And there's like loads of people, and there usually isn't. So out my window, I usually like have a little nosy.
See as well.
It's so busy, you know, because everyone's just outside. It's mad.
What about you, Dave?
Well, whenever I've been to Liverpool, actually, there's the Mackey's right in the centre of the thing, and you can sit in the window, can't you? That's good for people watching. It's like Where's Wally, just seeing who's around. I do like people watching, I suppose. I think maybe not as like a hobby. I don't like. I'm going to go people watch today. It's if I'm on the bus or something or driving, and I'll have a little gander, see what everyone's up to. But
yeah, no, I definitely do. I remember when I was I can't remember it, but my parents always said when I was younger, when I was baby, as a baby, then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. When we used to go out, I never used to talk to anyone. I used to just sit there. If we were at a restaurant, just sit there watching other people, not getting involved with conversation, which is probably what I'm still like now. If I'm out in a big group, I'll just like let everyone talk and then just watch everything else that goes on around. But favorite place to people watch, it's different now. But when I wasn't working, when I was at uni still, just sitting in a coffee shop, pretending to do your work, and then just getting distracted and just watching everyone that comes into Starbucks or Costa.
That's literally me. That is literally me. And that was a weird one. But
what other questions have you had so far? Have you had anywhere you've had to be like, God?
I think now. What was the one with Nath?
It was good, wasn't it? Like we got to talk. Oh, something about what's the worst thing about where you grew up?
Yeah, where you grew up.
Yeah, and then Nath.
You blue, red, Grace.
Red.
Oh, so you're then, aren't you? With this season soon.
I know, it's all a bit mad, isn't it?
It's the most Liverpool thing that can happen.
I know, honestly, like my brother and my dad, they're massive fans, and they're just like, is this really even happened? So like, you just can't take it in.
Just a load of fans just praying, just all around Manchester, just don't let it happen, don't let it happen.
Yeah.
Got the wish.
So
you're a Liverpool fan. You talked about playing growing up. So what were your sort of biggest influences? Who were they, and as players, and how have they sort of helped you on the path that you're on now? Yeah,
I can give you one guess. If I'm a Liverpool supporter, who do you think my idol was growing up?
Gerrard.
Stevie G.
Stevie G all day. Like he was just like the pinnacle of my life. Because obviously when I was little, the women's game wasn't as developed, so you couldn't really like follow them on social media, or you know, they weren't on TV. So my influences growing up were always watching men's football, and obviously being a Liverpool sport, it was Steven Gerrard all day. Like, I'll let you into a secret, I actually used to sleep with a picture of him under my pillow. Like when I was like 8 or 9, like I was only little, but I used to put Steven Gerrard under my pillow. Honestly, I was obsessed with him.
What's that, dude?
A picture of Rory Delap.
Nah, I'll be honest with you. Yours probably isn't as bad. Actually, yours might be a bit worse than mine, kind of. Well, I'm a Stoke fan, right? And but I love David Beckham. So, like, as a Man United, my dad would never let me get a Man United top with Beckham on. But I don't know who bought them for me, whether it's my mum or dad. Were Man United bed covers. But it wasn't Man United bed covers. It was David Beckham.
Oh my life!
Bed covers.
Worse.
So basically, every night I went to bed with David Beckham.
That's on par. That's on par.
That is just talking about bedtime routines. Controversially, I said to one of our girls in training, "I got some new boots." No, she got some new boots, and I was like, "Oh, are you gonna wear them to bed?" And she's like, "What?" I was like, "Do you not wear your boots to bed?" She's like, "No, what are you talking about?" I said, "Whenever I used to get a pair of boots, I would wear them. I'd sleep in those boots to like
mold it to your foot.
Them in. Is that just me or?"
I've been told about that. I never did
it.
Yeah, and in the bath, especially
in the bath.
Yeah, I've heard of the bath.
Yeah, I never really heard of it in the bed.
No, well, just me.
Wait for your call up.
Maybe just me then. Just me.
Got his shin pads on as well.
Just in case.
Bullshit wanker in bed, just ready to go. Anytime, any place. So Stevie G.
All day.
I'm going to say something really controversial here. He's never even in my like mind's eye when I'm thinking of like all-time midfielders.
Really?
I know he's a good leader, but I always have this debate, and I'm just like, I'm probably not having him in my all-time squad ever. But people like
for me,
first name on a team sheet.
Liverpool's side when Gerrard played for them was horrendous at times, and he dragged them through everything. Sammy Hippie was decent, but I'm on about like some of the fullbacks they've had, and I'm like, I can't even think of them. And like Aurelio, Finnan, like they're not world class players, and he's still managed.
Do you remember Harry Kewell?
Yeah. I was here.
Harry Kewell, what a baller! Yeah, to be fair, yeah, maybe I should give him some more credit then.
Like if he played in that Chelsea team instead of Lampard, he would be 100 times better than Lampard for me.
Do you think?
I'm not a big fan of Lampard.
Oh, see, I'm Team Lampard. Anyway, we're divulging a bit. So yeah, Stevie G, playing experience. Talk to us about your before we get onto sort of your career at the moment. Talk to us about the process of playing and coming through that youth system.
So I started off just playing for my local team, where I'm from, and found quite quickly like I was quite good. I was quite technically quite gifted, and my dad wanted to take me for trials at Liverpool, obviously being a Liverpool fan, and I really didn't want to go at first. Like I was just so nervous, and it's like I think there's a big jump, you know, going from grassroots to playing at an academy. But we went down to training. I think it was a bit more like not as strict, so I could go just to a training session. We were half an hour late, right? And I was sat in the car, and I was like, "Dad, I'm not going. Like, I'm not going. I'm telling you right now." Right. And it was like dragging me like out the car. Anyway, I went and trialed, and then they were like, "Can you come and play on this weekend?" So I was like, "Yeah." So I went down on the Saturday, and they were playing 11 aside at the time, and I wasn't. So I didn't even know like what offside. Like I knew what offside was, but I'd never played it.
Yeah.
Anyway, came on and actually scored, and I was buzzing. And that game, they were like wanted to sign me.
What was your celebration? Kissing the badge.
I think I was in shock. We were playing Coventry, I remember it. But I remember putting the kit on and being like proper like, what is going on? Do you know, like dead overwhelmed. But you know, I got signed and I stayed at the academy for 5 years up until reserve. So I went and played at the reserves, and then it was a bit weird because it was like the women's game was changing a lot. So the sort of age groups and the structure was changing. So I was 16 and I had to go and trial for the reserve. So there wasn't that sort of under 8. I don't know how it is now with you guys, but under 18s, under 23s, it was literally like open age. And I got in, but I really, really struggled with the sort of like the physicality of it. And I ended up getting released the season after. I was devastated. Thought the world was going to end because I thought like that was what I was always going to do, like go and play for Liverpool. So that was really, really difficult. But you know, I remember the same day, I literally I was like crying my eyes out, found out, went to the gym and was like, I'm going to prove everyone wrong, like I need to bounce back. And then went and trialled at Manchester City and then got in. So that was like, oh my gosh, I was like another lifeline for me. And that was incredible. Like we trained at the academy there 4 nights a week and it was very professional. But again, the season after I ended up getting released and I was, you know, again, heartbroken. So at the same time, I was moving to university anyway in Manchester because the whole idea was that I'd go and study at the university and train, but obviously that didn't happen for me. So in the end, I decided, you know what, I'm going to close this chapter now and just go to uni and play just for fun, because obviously it's a lot of pressure and a lot of hard work being in an academy, and that's what I decided to do.
Yeah,
it is full on, isn't it? I remember obviously me and Dee played all from like the age of, well, I was playing from the age of like competitive from the age of 5 till I was 21, and then went into the non-league. And it is draining. It is a lot of work, a lot of pressure. It's draining. There's not much free time. And then when I stopped and went to uni, it was like a weight off the shoulder, I think.
Yeah, massively.
And I wasn't really worrying about where my next where I'm going to be playing next. I don't know after this season what I'm going to be doing next. What was for you? I know the one thing I struggled with post 18 was going straight into men's football, and the physicality for me, because I was just tall and lanky. I was no muscle on me whatsoever. That was the biggest thing that I struggled with, because I was still growing until I was 22, and I was 6'4" or 5 now. So
wow.
I really struggled with that. But what was it? Was it similar for you within the girls' game?
Yeah, I think looking back, I think I struggled with the whole mentality and, you know, like the mindset. And I think that's probably why I ended up studying psychology at uni, because I don't think I had that with like mentality. Like when I looked at other girls in the team, you know, I played against like big, like Kira Walsh, who plays for England, plays with Katie Zellum, plays for Manchester United, and they just had this sort of mentality and belief in themselves that they were going to go do it. And I don't think I had that, especially as I got older and you become a bit more like self-aware, don't you? When I was younger, I think you're fearless, you just sort of do what you want, and I wasn't afraid. But then as I got higher up, and I was terrified of giving the ball away. I was like a midfielder, so I was stopping doing things that I was like made me stand out and what I was good at. So I think it was that really, and I don't really think I had that, you know, sort of coaching, you know, side of things. I was technically very, very good. I just didn't have that go. I don't know. I've always struggled with that, I think.
Yeah. That's sort of a similar path to sort of how I veered away from football as well. I think that the mental side of it was something I couldn't cope with. It is really tricky, but it's interesting you said that you felt like you didn't have that coaching, because I know we're trying to implement some things now, and I don't think it was in place really. Definitely not in my upbringing and my development. Like this psych, there was always sports psychs knocking about, but it was always just gear you up, motivate you, and it never sort of delved any deeper than that, like dealing with setbacks and being able to sort of be mentally resilient and stuff like that. And I think
I remember at Wolves, when I was at Wolves and Shrewsbury, I remember going in, and they're saying, if you need to talk to someone, we've got someone to talk to you. Now I went to a Catholic school. I'm not Catholic. I don't believe in I'm atheist. And they're saying I've got Wolves in Shrewsbury, and we've got chaplains for you to talk to. I'm like, I don't want to talk to a chaplain. Like I'm not interested.
Hang on, what's a chaplain?
So a chaplain is a chaplain is basically
like a priest.
Yeah, so it's similar to a priest. Now I'm coming from a background where religion is like just pounded at you. I do not want to talk to. So we never had like a psychologist there to talk to,
right?
And we never had the coaches weren't approachable. I'd probably say that I wouldn't go to my coach with any problems I had, because all it would be just shut you off and see you later. Which I think one thing that we do pretty well as coaches is give the girls the freedom to, if they want to talk to us, they can talk to us, and if they don't, they can write it down on sheets and give it to us. I think that's one thing we brought in. But yeah, I think it's just it's who the person is, and a chaplain isn't someone that you want to go and talk to. Personally, for me, and as footballers, I don't think there's many footballers that want to go, especially British footballers, that would want to go and talk to a chaplain. If it's a psychologist there that you can see there, and you've got one-on-one.
Do you think they still do that now? Surely not.
I've no idea.
What happens if you're not Catholic? Like,
it's not. No, it's not about. It doesn't matter what religion you are. It's just like the club has that person in place for you to talk to, and for whatever reason, it was always a chaplain wherever I was at, and I just didn't understand the concept of that. It wasn't a psychologist.
Yeah.
Whereas I think if it was a psychologist, you'd be more open to talking to someone. But yeah, did you not have that at Stoke, Lee?
No, mate.
I'm pretty sure. I'll have to ask Andy. And when Blakey was,
I don't know. There might have been. I never seen any chaplains there.
I'm 100%. Yeah, you never saw them. That was the thing. They had them. If you needed to talk to someone, just ring the chaplain or whatever. And no one ever did. I'll ask Andy about it. Right.
This sounds mythical, mate.
I know.
Mate, honestly, I swear down. I was actually talking to him about it the other day, and he was like, "Yeah, it's ridiculous."
Yeah, that does sound mad. That does.
He had it actually when he played for Stoke. He yeah, he had it then when he played for Stoke, but that was in the 80s and 90s. Now I'm playing in early 2010s, 11, 12s, and they still got it. But yeah,
Wow.
That is mad. Right, moving on.
That's like a weird turn.
It tends to, doesn't it? We get a question, and then all of a sudden it just goes weird. Like with Nath the other week, we went deep with Nath the other day, didn't we?
Yeah, it was, to be fair. So we've talked about sort of your mindset and your sort of psychological shortcomings, and that took you into your studies. How do you, or what skills can you think of that have transferred from that environment, maybe that you did have, and maybe that you've developed as a product of coming out of it, that have helped you sort of initiate MISSKICK, the brand in your company?
Yeah, as in my degree or like football?
Yeah, both. So what have you taken from both of those things that have helped you start this off, sort of in mindset perspective?
Yeah, I think with football, because obviously, like you say, you go through a lot of setbacks and it is hard. I think that really sets you up for the rest of your life, like going through them experiences. So I think that's made me a lot more resilient now than I probably wouldn't have been if I hadn't have gone through all them ups and downs. And the whole MISSKICK brand really is based around my early experiences and, you know, what I went through as a female player and feeling like there wasn't that equality and the opportunities just weren't there. And that's really what inspired me to set the brand up as a way to be like a platform to shout about, you know, these inequalities and to feel as though we're a brand that girls can feel like represents them and it's part of their identity. But I think with my degree in psychology, like, it's amazing how important mindset is. Like I said, I wasn't aware of it, and I get a bit annoyed now because I think if someone would have taught me these things earlier on, I would have been a much better player.
Yeah.
But it's like you've had to go out and learn it yourself, and it's so important in anything, in sport, in business, and anything that you do in life. The way you think absolutely impacts your behaviour and your responses, and that's going to impact whether you're successful or you're not. And yeah, the mad degree really opened my eyes. I think I did a lot around mental health and just how your brain's put together, and like when you understand it, it makes sense why people have a tendency to think negatively or be like really vigilant. It's just the way your brain operates, and if you understand that, you can control it. I think that's really, really helped me.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, just learning to control it. And I think it is shifting a little bit, like you said, but I think you forget with the mindset that it's a skill set as well, so you can develop it. And I think people just, it's easy to just, for a long time it was black and white. It was, they've got the right mentality, they haven't. They're never going to make it. There's no point working with them. And we've had a few sort of instances like that this season and previously, where it's just like the mentality is not quite there, but it's just introduces sort of that idea, and just looking at it as more of a developmental thing and providing them with those opportunities to learn and, like you say, control that aspect of it, because it does set you up. It's a lot. It sort of comes thick and fast, doesn't it? Especially in football, like all the setbacks and whatnot. So it gives you a real good foundation for you moving on, especially I can imagine in sort of the entrepreneurial world, where it's obviously you're carrying the weight of, do you know what I mean, a whole brand, employees potentially and whatnot. It's not an easy feat.
No.
But yeah,
it's very similar though. I like to think sport and business, I'm very surprised at how similar it is. You know, 1 week you'll be flying, you're performing well, your business is doing well. The week after, something happens and you've got to deal with it, and it's exactly the same in football.
Yeah, cool.
How was obviously what's happening now affected it as a business?
Do you know what? At first, I was like, because I was building up such great momentum as a brand, like, because the Women's Euros is in England. Well, it was meant to be next year. So that was like my gearing up point. I was looking to raise investment and really grow the brand this summer. We had 17 events confirmed for the summer to go and do pop-ups. And, you know, I was ready to go. My stock was ready to be ordered. And then the next minute, bam, you know, coronavirus. And I was like, couldn't have come at a worse time for me, I'm telling you. However, you know, positive mindset. It's made me think on my feet and adapt, and I've been able to have a bit more time to really look at my website, my social media, and to really plan and think and give me a bit more time, because I was very fast. I wanted everything to happen, but obviously this has happened. It's given me like a bit of breathing space to reflect and probably make better decisions moving forward. So at first I was like, what am I going to do? Like, my life's over. But then I calmed down, and then, you know, you move on and you come up with new ideas. Like, we've done all sorts that we would never have done, like doing our live football sessions and met with people and talked more with people, and yeah, so we're all right now. Like, we'll be okay, but it did definitely sort of, but like for everyone, it's, you know, it's affected everyone's life, and
that's it.
You can't moon, you know, you can't moon. So
yeah, it is. It's been a tricky time, really tricky time. By the way, talking about your social media, I've seen some of like, you know, when you like see these things, don't follow anything that's going to make you feel bad about yourself. I never thought that it had come from your brand, not in a bad way, but I've seen 14-year-old girls, like,
insane, aren't they?
Like a double around the world, and I'm just like, hang on a minute, mate.
Yeah.
Like, I thought I had techers, I thought I had a bit. And I thought I had a bit growing up. Never in my life have I ever been able to do that.
No, I can't.
I won the skill school, the pre-season skill school championships in under 18s. And I never brought any of that stuff out. And I was just like, what are they feeding these kids? I can't.
What about what one of the girls sent in the other day, Dee? I don't want to mention her name, but some of the kick-up skills. She's done the Jill Scott. She's on Jill Scott's Instagram, whatever. And it was ridiculous. And like, so describing the girl, she's quite shy and she's quite shy and timid, and doesn't really talk to many people. She's horrible on the pitch, like, it's great, but off the pitch, like, she's quite shy. She doesn't like to show off, I think. And then I was seeing this video, I was like, Jesus Christ, where's that come from?
Definitely not come from us.
Yeah, well, definitely might from you, but definitely not from me.
No, man.
I think it's a great, especially for the girls. So I've just been looking at at the web page, and I remember. So I played in America for 2 years, and obviously girls soccer is massive out there.
Yeah.
And I remember the girls playing, and they always had, no matter what, like training. I don't know, like a pink headband, but it was like tape that they always.
Yeah. I used to wear it. Yeah.
Yeah, I just had a look on there, and you've got obviously your MISSKICK one. It's great. It's great. I think we should get all the girls to wear all that kind of stuff, because some of the girls playing with the hair is so annoying. Like controlling the ball with holding the hair at the same time so it doesn't get in the face. I'm like, what is going on here?
You'll need one of them soon, Woz.
I know, mate. This is the longest it's been growing like this for. When did this start? Like 9 years.
Week 9, something like that.
This is 3 months of growth. This is.
Wow. Do you usually have it quite short?
Yeah. The short back and side, and then a little bit on the top. Well, a little bit on the top.
Get a bick on it.
No, mate, that's horrible on your head. That's a bit rough.
So talk to us about your starting the brand, and sort of you've touched on where the idea came from, and your past experiences with the football, but like what was sort of the process in starting it, because I know it's not an easy one.
Yeah, for me, like I had no background in business or even like where to even find a t-shirt and printer. But I just had this idea. Literally I was a bit blind probably at first, thinking, I'm gonna set this brand up, and then you don't actually realise like how much has to go into it. But I had the idea, and luckily for me, my mum works with this lady who knows this man. Right, stick with me. And he used to own Bench. Have you heard of Bench, the fashion brand? Yeah. So he's like retired, and obviously he's got huge experience. So I just emailed him and was like, look, I've got this idea for this brand. Like, will you help me? Like, I didn't know how to set up a business, register a company or anything. Yeah. So he was huge at the beginning. He, helped me register the company, find t-shirts, trademark the name, which is obviously really important as well, so like no one can steal it, and just helped me get myself off the ground. And then my dad organises a big football tournament every year in Skam, where I'm from, and there's like 1,200 girls come every year across 2 days. It's like one of the biggest in the country. And I thought, you know what, like this could be like a really good opportunity just to test the idea out and see if anyone buys anything. So this was back in June 2018 now. So for about 4 months, whilst I was still studying at uni, I was finding my t-shirts, designing them, registering my company, and we were going to have this big launch day at the football tournament. So on the day it came, and I remember I had like a tent, like borrowed someone's tent, and we had a table, and like we had like t-shirts, and that was it. And we sold 170 in 2 days, and I was like, wow, this could actually... I was like, this could work. People seem to like it. So from then on, I just thought, you know what, I'm going to throw myself into it. And I've been doing that ever since. And it's very much a learning process. Like every day I'm learning. Yeah. But that's what I love about it so much, because it is so hard and there's always something that you can improve on. But that's why I enjoy doing it so much.
Yeah.
That's sort of how it all happened, yeah. But I did it at uni. I was in my final year at uni. And then I was like, what have I done with my life? I was so stressed out because obviously you have your dissertation, and I was doing MISSKICK, and I was on like a business program with the university as well for 12 weeks, which was every Wednesday and Saturday. I was working full time on that, and I was playing football. I was playing for Chorley. So I was like, oh my gosh. But I got through it, and I'm better off for it now, definitely.
Yeah, that's it. No, it is. It's a testing time, isn't it? I've tread that path a little bit, and it is hard. I remember like I've sat in so many sports halls just like waiting for kids to turn up for coaching sessions and stuff, and it's just like nothing, and it's like, oh my god. Sometimes you just it can be like rock bottom, and it's just it's a really tough process, and you're obviously starting to find your feet, and like it's starting to pop off.
So I mean, it's been nearly 2 years now, like it's 2 years in June, so it has took time, and if you look, like, it's still a long way for me to go, but it takes, you've got to just keep going at it and just like have faith in your idea and just be willing to put yourself out there, which is, I think, why we are where we are.
Yeah, definitely. That persistence is huge. What?
Sorry, I was Andy called then, and I asked him about the chaplain. He said the only chaplain he had was a Stella. So maybe I'm making some of it up, but I'm pretty sure that there was. I do.
So a double-ended question now. The best and the worst things about being an entrepreneur, or your best and worst experience so far?
Oh, should we start with worst? I think probably the hardest thing about running a business is that you've got, especially early days, you've got to do everything. Like, you've got to be good at everything. And it's that juggle between, there's always something to do, but what right now is the most important thing to be doing. So obviously you have, like, social media in itself is like its own job, honestly. You know, you've got like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, I'm on TikTok now, YouTube, and that in itself is like mind-blowing. Then you have your website, so you've got to manage your website, manage your orders, design stuff, order stuff, do exchanges and returns, accounts, go to meetings, you know, the list goes on. And it's so hard to make sure, like, because time is the most precious thing, especially early on as a startup. You want to grow and you want to make sure that you're doing the best things at the right times. And that's definitely the hardest part is, you know, it's easy to just want to do the fun stuff and, you know, make videos and, you know, just the things that I enjoy doing, but you can't forget about, you know, looking at the numbers, how much you actually made this month, you know, what does that equate to? Where do you want to be in 6 months doing your forecasts? It's so important, as much as I hate it. That's probably the hardest thing. And the best thing, it's sort of like the same answer, is that literally you make all the decisions. So, like, if tomorrow I wanted to go and do something, I don't have to go and ask someone to do it. You can literally just go and do it. And I love the fact that, you know, the success or failure of MISSKICK will be down to me and the amount of effort I put in and the decisions I made. So if I want to not have a day off tomorrow, I can, or if I want to work tomorrow, I can. But I think getting that balance right is really hard, but it does have its benefits if you can do it properly.
Yeah, definitely.
Where do you want to go with MISSKICK? So obviously, as a startup, you've had 2 years now, is it? Around 2 years of doing it. So how far do you want to take it? Is it something that you want to see in, obviously, what they called high street shops eventually?
Yeah, that's the plan, really. I still feel like I haven't nailed the products yet. I still haven't found, like, I think with the earlier, younger girls, we've smashed it. Like, we have that sort of product market fit with them. They love the t-shirts, but the older market, I'm still sort of trying to figure it out. But I think for me, I think there's not a brand out there at the moment for women's football, and it's such a growing market. Like, the FA released last week, like, there's 3.4 million girls playing football, and I think there's such a huge opportunity with that, with the fact as well that the Euros is in England in 2022, so that's such a big sort of event that I can capitalise from as a brand. So for me, I want to get it as far as I can go. I'll push myself for it to be there. I'd love to see it in the likes of, you know, like JD, you know, Foot Asylum. I imagine it to be in them types of shops, but, you know, I like you said before about America, that's such a huge market as well and a big opportunity. So even like having the chance to go over there and do things over there as well, that's where I sort of see myself going. Whether I'll get there or how long it's going to take, I don't know, but I always think aim high.
Yeah. How important are the obviously the contacts that you've had through football? So obviously you've probably played with girls that are playing professionally now, or playing in America, just to get that brand recognition. Obviously, if they're wearing it in America, then the American girls are going, what's this? And then word of mouth. Is that a way that you've looked at? Is it what you want?
I am really lucky because, like you said, grew up playing football, so I have a few friends who I can lean on. to help me promote. So like, for example, Molly Green, she plays for Manchester United, like one of my best friends. She does everything, like anything I ask her to do, she'll post a picture for me. Ash Hodgson plays for Liverpool. She done our last photo shoot. And I think especially with women's football, I'm in a good position because there's no way in a million years you could go and ask DM a Liverpool foot player, like a men player, and be like, hey, we just put this top on for me, like, you've got no chance.
Unless you give them 100 grand.
Exactly, unless like you're gonna pay them. But I think with women's football, and like because of what MISSKICK's about, like they're happy to support it. And it's definitely, as we grow, I think I'll probably have to go down that paid advertisement partnership route, like the way Nike do and Adidas do, where they actually sign and it's more like legit. But for now, like girls who are playing professionally, they're more than happy for me to just send them a few bits and promote, which is fantastic.
Shirt sponsorships,
like
shirt sponsorships in a couple of years' time. Though.
Yeah, I think I'll have to.
No,
I think that's one of the good things. Obviously, like you said, is women's footballers are accessible, and that's one of the things that's gone from the men's game, that it's not easy to access people. Whereas women's football, they're still. I'm not saying men's footballers aren't grounded, but the women's football is still grounded, and you can still access them, and it's easy to talk to them. I mean, for us, I ran a webinar a couple of weeks ago now, and Georgia Stanway came on it for all the girls.
Wow.
So which was amazing. Yeah, for the I think from the ages of 12 to 16, we had all the girls on, and she talked for just over 40 minutes. I think I was running out of time on Zoom. But yeah, she was amazing, and I think a lot of it is down to girls like yourself just wanting to grow the game, and it does make a big impact on them.
Yeah, I hope so. That's what, when I set the brand up, like that's what I wanted to do. It was just something that I'd been through, and just feeling like I remember being at City, and I was sat in the changing rooms, and it was around the time that these built the new facilities, you know, the training academy by the main pitch, but we were still on the old one, and we were the last ones to use the training. But we always used to be in the boys' changing room, so obviously we were the last people to use the pitch. And we went into the changing rooms, and there was literally so much stuff left behind, like all brand new boots, kit. And I remember sitting in this chair thinking, like, we have to like fight to get so much stuff. And these lads have literally just left all this stuff here, and that's always stuck with me. And I remember thinking, like, do you know what, in 5 years' time, this isn't going to be happening to people like me. They'll be like, it'll be so much more developed. And I felt like 5 years on, it is getting better, like, don't get me wrong, but there's still so much more that needs to be done. And that's why I set MISSKICK up, just because of things like that. Well, it just sticks in my mind.
Yeah. And the end of the season was the best for us, Dee. I remember when I was a scholar at Shrewsbury, it was end of the season, all the players that had been released from the pros or were signing somewhere else would just leave the boots in the boot room. So it was like free-for-all for us. I was taking, that's where, do you know those Umbro boots I was telling you about?
Yeah.
That's where I got them ones from. Yeah. F50s.
Yeah.
The old F50s. Yeah. I never paid for a pair of boots for about 4 years.
See, that's what we're talking about, isn't it, Grace? People like you just scamming.
Yes.
No, that.
You know what? I had a top on, but they were too big. And you got little feet.
No, I think that's a really sort of prominent image there. Just the boots in a changing room. I think the way I see the girls in the women's game, and why I love it so much is it's sort of taking everything that's wrong with the men's game, just breaking stigmas, and it's sort of rebuilding it. And it's amazing to see just like the whole culture around development. Obviously, like it's a load more diverse, from everything to race to sexuality and everything. It's just it's a better representation of communities, I think, than you see still in the men's game. We've still got loads and loads of issues, as there are in the women's, but the factory that I see the women's and the girls game going, it's a lot more inclusive, and I can see it sort of going strength to strength, obviously, and that's why there's so much backing at the moment.
Yeah, but definitely. It's great to see.
Yeah, I just hope that obviously what's happened now doesn't affect the backing of people. So obviously Barclays put in, what was it, 10 million or something to the Women's Super League. But I honestly think this time is probably one of the best times to invest in women's football. I think I was on about it to, I was talking to, I can't remember who it was. I think it was yesterday. I can't even remember. I haven't talked to many people, but I was talking to someone yesterday about it is the perfect time just to invest and grow the game. Now because now you've got the time to just plan everything. There's so much time to plan what you want. And I'm like a pain in the arse for the club because I'm wanting every single piece of equipment that the men have got. Why haven't we got like GPS data, like the VO, what's it called? Video footage. Just wanting all that, and it costs a lot of money if you look at it, but it doesn't when it comes to growing the girls' game and what the girls are going to get out of it. It's better than paying. I don't even know what they spend on half the stuff, but it is better than some of the stuff that they pay for me personally. But yeah.
And I can't believe that the girls still now are paying subs and everything, sort of like a grassroots section. It's just mad.
Yeah.
We
are Chorley. We're 4th tier, so we're like pretty high up, and we all still have to pay subs. We don't have a coach. We have to travel to game. We play Newcastle away, Durham, and luckily my dad drives me. But we don't even have a coach, and that's no offence to Chorley because Chorley's an amazing club. It's just we don't have that finance to back it. And it's like we're not asking to be paid the same amount as men. It's just we want the same facilities and the same opportunity. Like if a girl couldn't afford to do that, she can't play. Like, and that's not fair. Especially at RTC and things like that.
And I think that's one of the biggest things. Like obviously, from Stoke's not a well-off area, so if you can't afford to join the club, then you can't play. Which it might not seem a lot of money, but for parents that have got a couple of kids that live in and they've got to provide for them, it is a lot of money because you're not just paying the subs. You've got to get them to where they train. You've got to get them to Everton, Liverpool on a Saturday morning. Training 3 times.
A couple $100 a month, really, which for a family is obviously extensive, isn't it? It's not. It isn't on.
Yeah. You're going to be struggling soon, Dee.
You are.
You're going to be struggling soon.
These pair will be on the bus anyway, wherever they're going. So, yeah, moving on. Your business has obviously gone strength to strength the past 2 years, with a lot of growth happening. And you said that it's changed your life. How have you felt? Because I know you've got some recognition, and have you won? Did you win an award recently?
Yeah, we won One to Watch, which was cool. Yeah.
How have you found dealing with the media? And coping with the aspect of it.
Yeah, so I found a lot of people sort of want to speak to you, and when I look back at my when I look back to my first sort of videos I did, I was so nervous because obviously I'd never spoken in front of a camera before or done anything like that. Because I'm on a business programme at the minute in Manchester, so I'm usually based in an office space there. It's fully funded by NatWest, and a big thing for them is all around pitching your business and having to speak and being able to articulate what you do. I stumbled on articulate, can you believe that? So I've learned, I've grown, and I've definitely become a bit more calm because I do speak quick as well. And my mum listens to it. She's like, no one's gonna know what you're saying. Slow down. So I'm like, all right, literally. But I've enjoyed it. I love being able to tell people a bit about what I do, and I think whenever I put myself out there, it might make me nervous, but if it makes a difference, then that's what I want to do, and I want to achieve big things. And if I sit in my bedroom all day and not go and meet anyone or put myself out there, then it's not going to happen. And to be honest, with the brand, we've had such a good response from parents and girls, and obviously you do get the odd comment. So on TikTok, I posted a video the other day and I had 5 people telling me to get back in the kitchen. I'm like, is this still happening? What is going on? obviously like these trolls. So you still do get it. Like people think like it doesn't exist, but it does.
Yeah.
I presume you were doing something to do with football then, and they said
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It was. I was kicking the ball. I was like bringing the ball down, and then someone was like, just like, "Oh, I could do that. Get back in the kitchen, or something, or like go make me a sandwich." And I'm just like, what? You've got to laugh. You've got to laugh.
Yeah. It is mad. I think I saw that one where you're winging it on the roof.
Oh yeah. No, we've nearly got 1 million views on TikTok on that video. Literally in 2 days. I woke up this morning and we're on like 700,000.
That's mad.
Mad. TikTok's the place to be, I'm telling you.
I went viral on TikTok not long ago.
You
did? How do I put this without getting anyone? Basically, he abuses his kids.
He's what? What did he do?
He abuses kids.
No, my lad was on the zip line and he was laughing his head off and he's hit the tyre at the end and he's leaning back and he's laughing so hard that he let go. Just smacked the floor. I've always thought it was a funny video. He's fine. I thought it was a funny video, so I stuck it on. And then the next day, like, it was Wolves away or something, and the girls were like on the phone, and one of the girls was just like, "Have you seen this video?" I said, "That's mad."
Oh my god!
Oh my god! It got some stupid like 500,000 views nearly.
Wow.
Mad.
It's mad, isn't it?
It is mad.
Yeah, I work in Manchester. I work for full time for Super League, so in rugby league.
Oh yeah.
We don't really use. I downloaded the account on TikTok and put a video on there and it got, I think it's on 11.8 million views now.
Really?
What?
Yeah.
And they're buzzing with my 1 million.
But all it was, because obviously no one really watches rugby league or Super League. No one really cares about it. But because the guy that scored the try looked like Mo Salah, it just went viral.
I've seen that.
And it's nuts. Our demographic of followers are, I think it was, last time I looked, I think it was like 70% of our followers, I think we're on to like 40,000 at the moment.
Oh my gosh.
Are Indian. They don't even rugby. They don't even know what rugby is in India. But that video of Reece Williams, who looks like Mo Salah, scoring a try.
It looks like Mo Salah.
Pardon?
So, we'll wrap it up with a message for young. Sorry, leave that, please, mate. Leave that. He's knocking these guitars over. Was finish with a message for any young, aspiring. I don't want to say footballers, but girls who are in that industry, and obviously with how it is at the moment and so many opportunities for the women's game. What message do you have for anyone trying to make it as a footballer or trying to sort of stamp their own, footprint on the women's game?
I think my advice would be, like, be fearless. Like, I regret not believing in myself more and thinking that I could go all the way. And I think, like, just go for it. The way you stand out is if you're playing your best and you're enjoying playing football. So I think that's so important. Like, make sure you've got to be enjoying playing for your team, with your friends or wherever. You've got to be enjoying it. Otherwise, you're not going to be playing your best, I don't think. And don't be afraid to, like, just put yourself out there. Like, go and trial. Go, even if you don't want to go and sign, go and trial. See what it's like. See how you compare to the other players. And just be willing to work hard. I think as I got older, the fitness and like your physique and your athleticism definitely comes into it a lot more. And you should definitely be willing to put the effort in away from training, especially with women, like the women's football. You train like twice a week, don't you? Or however long. Yeah. So a lot of whether or not you're going to be successful is how much effort you put away from training. So I'd definitely be looking at that as well.
I think your story obviously as well is realistically not every single girl that plays football is going to make it into Super League, the Women's Super League, or
especially now.
Yeah, and obviously there is life after football. I know from probably the three of us point of views that for a long time it's tunnel vision. That's it, and that's anything.
Yeah.
But I think the three of us probably are good examples of there is something if it doesn't happen.
Yeah, and you just go with it. Like, I would never have thought I would be having a clothing brand in a million years. Like, wasn't even in my eye. So just be willing, but always do what you like. Obviously, it's still very football based. I still get to spend a lot of time in football, and so it's still sort of my passion. But it's just in a different way, isn't it?
Sorry. Oh yeah, we'll leave it at that. Have you seen his trim, by the way?
Has he done that?
Yeah, I slipped cutting his trimming his fringe. It just went zzz, so it was like that. So I had to take it all down and shape him up, and now he's got a skinhead.
Does Katie know?
She was at work, so she got back off an 12-hour shift. And,
I bet she was fuming.
Seen her ass. To be fair, I think she was too tired. The day after, it was a bit more like, oh my God, what I've done, but he's happy. All right. Thanks for your time, Grace. It's been,
all right.
Yeah, it's been good to meet you. And then obviously I'm going to keep on following the brand and see sort of where you're headed, and then maybe we can catch up in a few months. Or
yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, been good. Like, most people I talk to, they're not footballers. They're always like business people, and there's no offense to them, but it's nice, you know. So like, because you have been through like similar things that I've been through, so it's good.
Yeah, sorry. This is absolute. Oh no! Right. Thanks, Grace. No.
Oh no!
Right. It's all right. Can I kick it podcast?
With two extra special guests. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Oh my days.